With Janice Cobb of Save My Pet ID Tag, engraved with your pet's info, they allow emergency personnel to start care for your pets if you're sick or injured. Head over to SaveMyPetIDTag.com and explore products. They ensure peace of mind for you and for your four-legged family.
Our special guests today study all things DOG, and arguably, they have the coolest jobs on the planet. That's because they run the Duke Puppy Kindergarten Center at Duke University. Now, they're here today to share new findings about puppy intelligence. Please welcome to our show from Duke University, Dr. Brian Hare and Vanessa Woods. Welcome.
Thank you. What an introduction.
Thank you, Arden.
Did I have you at puppies?
Yes.
Did I have you at puppies?
Yes, we do that a lot. We just walk around saying puppies.
Hey, timing is everything. Dr. Brian Hare and Vanessa Woods, they were recently featured in this amazing documentary on Netflix. It's called Inside the Mind of a Dog. And it was narrated by somebody we should know, Rob Lowe. And so they're on there. Oh, it gets better. Now, they also are unleashing a new must-get book. It is called Puppy Kindergarten, the new science of raising a great dog. You're both at the Duke Puppy Kindergarten Center. What a gig. So let me start with you first, Vanessa. How did you get into the dog biz?
Oh, well, actually, I'm married into the dog business, of course. Like, I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. I've had dogs all my life. But then it was just luck on my part that Brian ran these really revolutionary studies when he was like 19 years old. So by the time I came on the scene, he already had this kind of like this really good sort of research project and finding lots of cool things. And so I just jumped on board. It's been a joy.
Well, you're both a research scientist and a journalist. You can do a typewriter and you can figure out things. So every great guy like a Brian needs a great gal like a Vanessa, right?
I said Brian.
Brian is a smart husband. So how long have you guys been married and you have a couple kids?
Since 2006.
Wait, Is that almost 20 years? Almost 20 years. Yeah, wow. Goes by fast. Yep.
And everyone, let me properly introduce Dr. Brian Hare. He is, this is a fancy title, ready? Professor in the Department of Evolutionary Anthropology and the Center for Cognitive Neuroscience at Duke University. I think I need to take a break. That's a lot of title. How do you fill that out on your tax form? Occupation.
Takes a while.
But what's really important, folks, all joking aside, he founded the Duke Canine Cognitive Center. We all know that dogs are smart, but they're smart in all different ways, right, Dr. Brian?
That's right. That's one of the big findings is that dogs have different types of cognition or intelligence, and they vary independently. So if you're good at one thing, it doesn't mean you're good at everything. And if you're bad at something, it doesn't mean you're bad at everything. So it's a lot of fun because dogs have different cognitive profiles, and it's what makes them all their special individuals and beings that we fall in love with.
Now, do you all have dogs at home?
We definitely do. Yes. We are raising a canine companions puppy that's an alum from our puppy kindergarten, and his name is Neutron. And he's about 10 months old, and we're hopeful that
we're working really hard.
We're working hard. Should we say that? I think that's the right way to say that.
We need you, Arden. We need you. We need your personal consultation.
So is he, I love canine companions. I lived in Oceanside, California for many years.
Oh, okay.
And now I live in Dallas, and they have a canine companion center near Dallas. So I've done a lot with them. I love them. So you're a puppy raiser with them?
So all of our puppies that come to the puppy kindergarten are from Canine Companions. They're all service dogs in training. And so the mission of the puppy kindergarten is to try to understand what cognitive abilities might predict successful service dog training when service dogs become adults. And if we could do that, if we get in a 8 to 12 to 16 week old puppy, be able to predict, okay, this dog has really good prospects for making it through professional training. This one, we're a little worried about. We could invest in those that are looking good, and we could intervene on those that might need some help. And so And that could solve the big problem with all working dogs is there's not enough of them because it's so hard. It's so hard for many of them to pass the professional training. So that's the problem we're working on is how do we figure out the right jobs for the right dog? And how do we get more dogs doing all these amazing jobs that they can do so that they have a fulfilling life?
So who is this retired service dog named Congo?
Oh, Congo was
Come
our
on,
dog.
Vanessa.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Congo was our dog, and he was just a great dog. I think he was really inspiration for the whole book, and that's why we kind of called it The New Science of Raising a Great Dog, because everybody has one, or everybody has had one. They have,
or everybody wishes they had
or
one.
wishes they had one, or they had one, and then the kind of like the follow-up one that's sort of like is maybe struggling a little bit. But so Congo was our kind of great dog, and he passed last year. And let me tell you, all those pet parents out there, the grief will really knock you sideways. And that's something that we talk to people about. The fact is they are really part of your family. And when they pass, the grief is real, but they leave you just with this wonderful gift. And so that's our mission, is to help people sort of and raise great dogs.
Now we're talking puppies, but this isn't a cakewalk. I mean, you guys are blazing new territory. You've got subjects that can't tell you. Yeah, spot on, Dr. Brian, Vanessa. Yeah, you got me. Yeah. So I want to ask you, Brian, how are you cracking the puppy code?
Well, one of the big things that happened about 20 years ago is we started using games that developmental psychologists who study infants use to study human development. And we started using similar games with dogs because infants can't talk and there are nonverbal measures of their psychology. And we started using a lot of those games with dogs, and it ends up dogs are fantastic as playing these games. They love to play them. And
give me an example. Give me an example.
Well, one easy example that was in the Netflix documentary is we have a game to measure eye contact, how much eye contact the dog makes. And there's a lot of individual variation in how much eye contact the dog will make. And you just put food in a container and you lock it and they can't get the food out. And so you see, does your dog work really hard to get the food out? Or do they sort of say, oh my gosh, you have thumbs, I can't get this, and look up and start asking for help? And so different dogs have different strategies. And even within service dog populations that are bred and trained and raised for service, and they're all the same breed and population, there's tremendous individual variability. And these kinds of tests have helped us predict what they'll be like when it's time for training.
And that makes it so there's actually two signs of intelligence at play in this game. It sounds like the smart dog who knows to ask for help, remember? And the other dog that figures out how to open the thing. So it's sort of like you're kind of gauging two types, right?
Exactly. It's not who's smarter. It's what's their strategy and what's their cognitive profile. What's their preference for how they solve problems. I'm going to solve it on my own versus I need help. I like to ask for help. And actually those two differences predict different kinds of success with different programs. So the dog that is really determined really is going to be a great detector dog. The dog that is asking for help will be a fantastic service dog.
I like that. I like that. What's your take on going every day to work, Vanessa, and hanging out with puppies?
Oh, it's really just as wonderful as it sounds. I mean, and I think my big message to puppy owners is that, like, yes, it's really hard, but it's just like having kids. Like, you get out of it what you put into it. And so just going to work every day and seeing the puppies and really getting to know their personalities and just kind of like watching what they do. It's just, it's so funny. And it is hard to figure out what's going on in their minds, but there's something going on.
For sure. I jokingly say that the first year of a puppy, a life with a puppy, this is an Arden original. You call it the wonder year. Because where your sanity goes.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. We're with Vanessa Woods and Dr. Brian Hare from Duke University. They operate the Duke Puppy Kindergarten Center, and they have a new book out. It is called Puppy Kindergarten. Show it. Hold it up. The New Science of Raising a Great Dog. We're going to dive into the book and the documentary, but we got to take a break, and you all know the drill. Sit. Stay. We'll be right back.
Pet Range just donated a large amount of catnip and cat grass to Beagle Freedom Project, who recently just converted an animal testing lab into an animal sanctuary called Freedom Fields. Giving cats in a rescue access to cat grass and catnip can really help with their mood or acclimating if they came from outside to inside. And reducing a cat's anxiety really helps their chances of getting adopted. If you'd like to learn more about Petgreens, or if you're a nonprofit and would like to request some cat grass for your sanctuary, please visit petgreens.com.
Arden Moore here with some great news. I have not one, but 2 calendars coming out in 2025. Order yours now. For my feline friends, it is How to Speak Cat. You're going to learn why and how cats purr and how do they really talk using their tails. For my dog folks, we got How to Speak Dog. Why do dogs dig to dig? And what does it mean when they go belly up? And what does it really mean when they're giving you doggy kisses? Answers are here. Get your paws on the calendars today. Go to Amazon.com or click on this QR code. Paws up. Welcome back to the Four-Legged Life Show. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I am talking all puppy talk with 2 geniuses. We're speaking with Dr. Brian Hare and Vanessa Woods. They are both at Duke University, and they are with the Duke Puppy Kindergarten Center. And you guys go check out Netflix. There is an amazing documentary out, and it is called Inside the Mind of a Dog. I've watched it. It is narrated by the Brat Packer, Rob Lowe, and features a lot of folks trying to nail down what puppies are all about. But a lot of was devoted to your center, Dr. Brian. What was it like to be a part of a documentary? And please tell me you did get to meet Rob Lowe.
We didn't get to meet Rob Lowe. In fact, we didn't know till the piece was on Netflix who was narrating.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, so it was a surprise to us too. Oh, that's Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
So, but it was great to host, and there was a great team, and they really were able to highlight some of the findings and progress that science is making, trying to understand our best friends. One of the things you'll see, and one of our big findings, is we've been studying how puppies develop. And believe it or not, there's not really good work on cognitive development in dog puppies in the last rapid moment of brain development, which is from 8 weeks to 20 weeks. So this last rapid development in the brain. And so what we've been doing at Duke is we've been basically testing them every other week for how they solve problems and how that problem solving develops. And what we found is it's not that all the critical cognitive skills for training develop all at once. They actually develop sort of in stepwise fashion, and it's probably at least four steps. And so we know when they develop now, which we didn't know before. We know kind of the rate they develop, which we didn't know before. But the other thing we learned is how experience can actually, and this is what I want to share with you, and is also in the Netflix, is actually playing the game we already talked about, putting food in a little box and then seeing if they look up or not. What we discovered was just playing that game once or twice every other week doubled the amount of eye contact that our puppies made relative to adult dogs from the same service dog program. So very little experience has a huge impact if you do it early during this final rapid brain development between 8 and 20 weeks.
And people, I always ask people to wait till at least the pups are 12 weeks old, give them a chance to be socialized. But when we get our puppies, and Vanessa, we just want to hug them and love them. But you got this beautiful period of them being like sponges, right? So is there any tip you can give people getting a puppy on what they can do to really lock in their cognitive prowess? Ooh, that was a big word.
So I think the game that Brian described is a really good example of a new way to interact with dogs. I mean, there's lots of kind of like fetch and frisbee throwing things, but what we tried to do in the book is we tried to lay it out so that people could follow these very simple directions.
Like brain teasers for canines, right?
Yeah, so they can really get an idea of like how their puppy thinks and sees the world. And then we also point people towards them because that is a kind of citizen science program where
what is Dognition?
Dognition it's a citizen science project where people can go and they can test their own dogs, and then they can actually enter their results into the Dognition website, and they'll actually get back a report on how their dog does compared to all these other dogs.
Is it like dognition.com or what is,
Yep.
What's this? All right.
Yeah, it's dognition.com, and we have like tens of thousands of dogs in the database. And so, yeah, people really like it. It's kind of like new way of playing with their dog. And sometimes they do things that are really unexpected. I know
And
with our last dog.
Go ahead.
And Arden,
and
just
hold
to-
up
just
that
to
book,
add-
Brian, because we're gonna be talking about that book in a second. Go ahead, keep talking. I know you can talk and hold at the same time. You've
Okay,
got
I'll
that
talk and hold it at
cognitive
the same
skill.
time. Yes, there it is, like a little baby. So I just wanted to, you said the thing about 12 weeks and not really starting to train before 12 weeks. And I think that is absolutely,
No, I meant people get a dog and then they don't think they need to train. You should be training from day one, right?
Oh, okay. Right. But I will say that more complicated skills and training, I think part of the reason that it might be difficult to train young puppies before 12 weeks is one of our findings is that we have measures of self-control. And self-control doesn't really emerge until somewhere between 10 and 13. And actually, the most complicated or best, richest version of self-control doesn't emerge till 13 weeks. So when your dog is struggling with self-control as a puppy, it's because they don't even have any yet.
That is brilliant. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So now we know.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
really 13 weeks, it starts to show up.
Well, in your book, I guess I want you to quickly tell us about the adventures of Arthur, Wisdom, and I think his name is Ying. So we'll give you Arthur, Miss Vanessa. Do you remember Arthur?
Arthur,
And
yes,
dinosaurs?
of course. He was our labbiest lab. Arthur was just this picture perfect black lab. And Brian was just in love with him because his childhood dog, Oreo, was also a black lab. But
I was in love with Arthur.
He just had this beautiful temperament where, we have this one kind of, we have this one test that's like about something new and surprising, right? It's like a temperament test. And so we introduced the puppies to a life-size robots and different robots along every 2 weeks. So first there's like Kitty, and then comes Lion, and then there's like this blue dinosaur, Triceratops we call Blue. And Arthur was just the perfect gentleman. He would say hello politely. He was,
nice.
not all over them. He would sniff the dinosaur's bottom and then retreat. So he was just great. And then we have crazy puppies, like, let's see, I think Xena was one of those where she just went for the dinosaur. Like she was so surprised that she went up and she like knocked the dinosaur over and was like rolling him around. And
It brings up the point. Yeah, they're different. And then because we've got a couple minutes left, but then you have poor Ying. And you guys describe who fails at cognitive games that even pigeons usually pass with flying colors. It's okay, Ying. Come on, Brian. Good for Ying.
Ying has grown up to be a great dog, and there's no problem that Ying was struggling to pass things when she was young. No worries. But I mean, the reason we play all these games again is like the temperament test is we're trying to understand individual differences and how that predicts success. And one of the reasons the book is fun is we really think that what we've learned about service dogs is important for all dogs. And so there's a lot of because we raised 101 dogs. we think that
take that, Dalmatians. Okay.
Yeah. 101 service dogs. We think there's a lot that any dog owner can learn from these service dogs, because really in today's world, what we're expecting of our dogs is what we've expected for of service dogs for the last 100 years. And so we think there's a lot that we can learn about how they grow up to end up with more people having great dogs.
So quickly, give us a couple of do's and don'ts. We'll start with Dr. Brian first. For puppies, I just got a puppy. This puppy is not a service dog. I want to bring out the best in this puppy. A do and a don't.
I think the big thing is sleep. And I'm going to steal Vanessa's thunder, probably, because she has really been amazing in working on this. But we had accelerometers on their collars, so we know when they were active. It's like a Fitbit. So no one's ever actually measured puppy activity and sleep during this period. And so the punchline is, the big mistake people make is if you put them to bed and you don't take 15 to 20 minutes before at night to let them go to the bathroom. And I think people think, we went to the bathroom, so now I can take them in. And you really need to use time as your limit, not whether they go or not. Use 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you get them out and go to the bathroom. And then Vanessa
Okay.
can tell you about.
Yeah, we got about a minute left. So Vanessa, finish us up.
Walk. Oh, the walk. Just take the puppy on a walk, like lots of short walks throughout the day. Because as Brian said, they had these kind of like puppy Fitbits on, and they seem to have 4 periods of activity, which kind of exactly mapped onto what we happened to do with the puppy.
Nice.
Because in the puppy kindergarten, when you've got like 5, 7 puppies at the same time, if they all start going crazy, it's like, if we don't use any negative reinforcement, it's all positive.
No.
So it's just go on a walk.
But
short
But
walk,
going on a
maybe.
walk and letting them sniff. I see these people that are like, walk right next to me, heel. And I'm like, if I was a dog, I'd be like, really? That's not a dog walk. What do you think about that, Vanessa?
I think there's a time. I think there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place where you have to be attentive, and it's not time to sniff up everything. And, you know, like if you're at a restaurant or a cafe or if you're somewhere with other people.
You're right.
But absolutely, if you are on a stroll around the neighborhood, then definitely puppy's got to sniff.
Hey,
Let them read
everybody.
the newspaper.
Yeah. Hey, we definitely have to have these two back. We are speaking with Dr. Brian Hare and Vanessa Woods from Duke University. They operate the Duke Puppy Kindergarten Center. They were key interviewed experts on the new Netflix called Inside the Mind of a Dog. And good news, their book just came out. It's called Puppy Kindergarten, The New Science of Raising a Great Dog. How do we find out more about getting hold of you, reaching, following you? Anybody who wants to do the social media plug?
Social media is at Duke Canine Cognition on Instagram, so you can follow us there. We have a website with links to the book on all the indie book pages, just vanessawoods.net and brianhare.net. And yeah, we'll see you on social media.
I thank you both for being guests on our show, and I thank you for the research that you're doing, because dogs make us better humans. That's what I say.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life.
Four-Legged Life.
Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content.
Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.